And then things started to turn quite sour in the press and people saying stuff. Yeah.
And I pay myself a salary of 20 grand a month.
You spent a bit of time with Grant Cardone. You spent some time with some pretty famous people recently. Andrew Tate.
Well, it's all gone. It's all been... I sued everybody.
Today's guest is definitely an interesting one. Surrounding Samuel Leeds is a lot of controversy. He's had a lot of media backlash over the last few years around his sales tactics, his views on life, and some of his also connections with people, big names like Andrew Tate. In this podcast, we jump into Samuel's story and deep dive into what it was like growing up and how he's become one of the most well-known property trainers in the country. We also cover some of the controversy that surrounded him over the past few years and touch on light subjects like his fight that's happening with Rob Moore. I hope you guys enjoy it. This is From the Ground Up with Samuel Leeds.
Samuel, thank you so much for joining me on the channel.
It's a pleasure, bro. It's nice reconnecting and chatting off camera as well.
Yeah,
and,
it's good.
No, really good to come and support what you're doing. Big respect.
Amazing. So for anybody that doesn't know you and your story, can you just quickly give a bit of a snapshot as to who you are and what it is that you do?
Yeah, well, I'm one of the few content creators on YouTube specifically based in the UK that talks about property and real estate. So do a lot of property content, buy a lot of houses and document the journey and have, I kind of got well known from exactly doing that. When I was around 25, everyone was asking me about what I'm doing in property. Like, how have you bought all these houses and what are you doing? So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna document it. So I started documenting deals around about 2016 on my YouTube channel, and people would love just seeing real life, how it works, videos, and that blew up. And now I'm a father of 3 kids. I'm a husband, and I just love life.
Amazing. So you've got a few different businesses at the minute, all centered and focused around property. Yeah. I went back actually and watched a couple of your early videos back from when you first started posting.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
And it was really interesting actually.
Cringy. Looking back, bro.
Well, I particularly was thinking about the video where you posted it, and it was, I think you were taking like 2 or 3 investors around a house.
That's it.
And it was like you were doing deal packaging. Yeah. But you really were like taking people to the house and having a look around. I don't know many people. My business, I do deal packaging. My business doesn't look like that. I don't like walk people around the property. So it's a really interesting.
Yeah, that's because that was the embryonic stages of me creating. Because the way that deal packaging works now, I kind of created it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, everyone that you see deal packaging, the does the thing and sends the email, blah, blah, blah. That's like my template. I'm the OG. You know what I'm saying, though? So when I was doing that, that was the wrong way to deal sell. That was slow, long-winded, painful, but it was all I knew. And that's why looking at my YouTube channel, you can see the documentation of how things have evolved. And it's cheesy looking back because of how I wasn't necessarily talking about how bad it was, just because of me on camera. Like when I'd look at the camera and be like, hey, everybody, and like almost a slight like presentation style. Whereas now it's just, I'm so used to being on camera, but it's a bit nerve-wracking really going on camera when you're not used to it. So back in the days when I was uploading, I was very camera conscious when the cameras were rolling. Now it just feels like I'm not even aware that they're on. But yeah. So that's like what, I don't know, 7-8 years ago now.
Yeah, amazing. So could you summarise just quickly the business that you do have at the minute? Are you still deal packaging? Have you got other businesses that you've grown out? Like what do you do? And
that's a great question.
What businesses
Jack.
do you have?
I mean, I've had to sack off and sell a lot of businesses because everything property related I have done. I've had a construction company, a letting agency, obviously a deal packaging business, a furniture and dressing company.
You had a estate agency, did you say? Or
letting agency,
lettings?
Yeah, called Quick Move. So I had loads of property businesses, but what I realised is that when you have lots of businesses, it can be really easy to not be focused.
Yes.
And having so many spinning plates at once. I look at people like Richard Branson and Elon Musk who've got these massive businesses and they seem to have loads of different stuff going on, and I don't know how they do it. Like, it's just I can't do that. So for me, I've really got 3 focuses. I've got my property investment business, which is just buying houses, renting them out, which I've been doing since I was a teenager. That is pretty passive. I've got my property development business, which is really hard, and to be honest, it's a bit of a nightmare getting planning permission and builders and all that stuff. I've got a great team, but I've got my property development business, and then I've got my property training company where I'm out on the road. I spend 8 days a month on my training business, and then the rest of the time is being a dad and a husband and working on the development business and managing the investments and stuff like that.
That's amazing. So you own the 3 businesses. You do a lot of work with your brother, right?
Yeah, me and my brother are 50-50 on everything.
Yeah.
Me and my wife are 50-50 on everything. Probably leaves me with 25%.
Yeah. I was going to say the numbers stack on that.
I don't know. But the thing is, yeah, I'm a massive believer of collaboration. And I think that I'd rather have a smaller stake in something big and meaningful than have everything myself but not be collaborating. And that's why I'm always happy to do things like this, come and collaborate on other people's channels and collaborate in business. I'm a massive believer in collaborating your way to the top rather than trying to do everything on your own.
Yeah, definitely. So you're very well known in the industry. That's obvious. You've got a very successful YouTube channel, very successful training business, and then obviously the developments as well. Could you give me a bit of context to you, what it was like growing up as Samuel Leeds, and almost the journey that you went on in your younger years?
Yeah, I mean, my younger years, to be honest, I wasn't a particularly bright kid. I wasn't good at lots of stuff. My parents separated when I was 7, and I failed in school. I got 3 GCSEs, left school age 16, so basically kind of like flunked out. Worked for my dad because my dad made me. He was an entertainer, so he used to do children's magic shows and things like that. So I was doing discos, balloon modelling. I was like 16. I was doing that. I was getting paid £25 a day. And then on top of that, I was also doing plastering. I was doing cleaning snooker tables at Riley's, and I was just doing anything to just make a bit of extra money. And it was actually a few things, but the plastering business, when I was on building sites and I was plastering houses, my boss, called Mark, who was a builder, I was plastering a HMO. And he was telling me, I don't know if I've shared this actually before, but he was telling me, the guy who owns this house, he's so smart. And I was like, why? And he said, he bought this house for 125 grand. We're doing it up and turning it into a 5-bed HMO. I was like, what's a HMO? Well, that's the thing, he says. He's going to be renting this out as a room. That's why we're putting en suites in. What you're plastering is going to be a bedroom, which is rented out to a professional. And then that's going to be a room. That's going to be that. And he was doing the math, just like a little notepad or something. And he was just working out how much profit he was going to make. And then once the refurb's done, this house will be worth about 200. And then he refinances. And I was just thinking, this is interesting. And then I went down to a PIN meeting, Property Investors Network, with a guy called Simon Zucci, who became a mentor to me as well as many other people. And I realised that, actually, I think I could be pretty good at this. You know, I'd see people doing certain industries and certain jobs and things like that looks really hard. When I saw people doing business and property, I thought, I could do that. And I just threw myself into it, and the rest is history.
And how old were you at that point?
17.
17 when you
when I
first
bought
jumped
my
into it.
first house. Yeah, I got my first deal at 17.
Yeah.
And again, your first one's the hardest.
What was that one? Talk me through that one. First deal.
The first deal was in Birmingham. It was on the Maryvale Road, and I was 17 years old. And what happened was, at the time, I was basically finding deals just to create goodwill. So I was on these property courses and I was finding potential deals, and I was literally just passing them on to investors who were also on the course and just saying, here's a good one, just to try and be valuable.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm thinking, I don't want to make any money. Maybe they'll let me manage it. Maybe I'll be able to do a rent-to-rent on it or something. But I just wanted to be respected and accepted and valuable to the community. And I was thinking, when I turn 18, I'm going to start buying houses myself. I'm going to use at the time, this was like a long time ago, when you could buy a house with a loan with Mortgage Express. You could buy it below market value and then refinance it the same day. So this was like ages and ages and ages ago. And I thought, when I turn 18, then I'm going to clean up, do it myself. And a mortgage broker said to me, you do realise that to get a buy-to-let mortgage, you've got to be 21. And I was like, oh, damn. So now I'm thinking, I'm not waiting 4 years. At the time, as a 17-year-old, 4 years feels like a lifetime. So that was when I thought, how can I creatively get something before I'm 21? Which was the idea of finding somebody to partner with, or find someone, a guarantor or something to host the property for you. My mum had remarried at this point, and Tim, my stepdad, said he would be like a host for my house. So then I thought, I don't even have to wait till I'm 18. I just do it now. So I bought a house, 21 Maryvale Road, bought it for 100 grand. It was worth 125. Bought it with a bridging loan, refinanced it the same day, pulled all the money back out, no one lent me any money apart from the bank.
Yeah.
And then rented it out as a HMO room by room. And that was when I was like, damn, this is like actually possible. And obviously it was hard after that because the whole credit crunch and the recession and everything. But that kind of gave me a taste. Just being able to say, that's mine and I own it as a teenager was like a really good feeling. It gave me a buzz and a sense of confidence and self-belief that nothing else had done before that.
Yeah. So was that before the 100% mortgages? Because I know people around them were getting 125%. Yeah, 125%. So would that not have been an option? Or it was just a reason why you went down that route of the buy next day refinance?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, during that time, when I was a teenager and I was going on these courses and they were telling me you can buy it below market value and then you can refinance it, I didn't actually get it.
You just did what they said.
I was just told, if you find a house that's 20% cheaper than it should be, pass it to us and we'll, with our solicitors and broke wood. And as far as I'm concerned, I was just like, you know what? Like when you turn the light switch on, you don't know how, well, I don't know how the light comes on. I just know if I do that, that happens. And it was the same. So I think in a way, my naivety and childlike belief actually helped me. And then it was like, oh, it works. Not because in the world of business and property, everyone tells you how things can't be done, how difficult things are. If you speak to an accountant or a broker, like the broker that said to me, you got to be 21. Everyone's a problem finder. And, you know, I think the fact that I was just being mentored and guided, I had a mentor called Tony, who I met at a business networking event called BNI. And I had people around me and I paid them money, but they were just saying, do this, do this, do this. And I was just doing it like a remote control. They would tell me what I was doing it. And that sense of belief actually served me really well. Some of the hardest people as a trainer now, I'm a trainer and a mentor, some of the hardest people to coach are like people that are, you know, in their late 30s, they've got a house, got a mortgage, they might have one buy to let, they've got a bit of money, they're on 50K, they've got 50 grand in the bank, and they kind of feel like they know what they're doing, but really, they ain't got a clue, they're broke. They're just in the rat race. But if I'm coaching someone that's like 20 years old, who's at university, and hungry and prepared to go into estate agents and make themselves look a bit silly and just follow the process. Actually, they can be easier to coach. And the other people I like to coach are people that have just had like a midlife crisis. Like you come across someone that's like maybe they just turned 55 and they're thinking, damn, I've only got like 10, 12 years left. And then I'm going to have to pull my pension, which, oh my goodness. And they suddenly wake up to the fact that they need to do something completely different and they're ready for a revolution in their life. They're really good people to coach as well.
Amazing. Yeah, I've got a couple of coaching clients that there's some that just are a little bit too comfortable.
Yeah. You can't be.
And then there's others who they're just going at it and they just say to me, I offered on 40 houses today. And I'm like, all right, calm down. But at the same time, they're the ones getting the results because they're just doing what I'm telling them to do.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this would be, I'd like you to just quickly condense the rest of the journey, if that's okay. So from your time of getting that first property, what has been the journey up until now? Like, what's taken you from then until now? What have you been doing?
Loads of challenges and ups and downs and problems, not just with my businesses, but also with my personal things. So, I mean, the first few years I was really hungry and I was just pushing like crazy to try and get as many houses as I could. When I turned 20 years old, around that time, I started grappling with actually what's the purpose of my business and what do I want to do with my life? Yeah, okay, I'm making money. When I was 20, I was making enough money to live a comfortable life. I had, a bunch of houses and I was renting them out and I was like, okay, cool. And my church, who really cheered me on at the beginning of my journey when I was like 17, they were like, yeah, awesome. When I got to the point where actually I'm now like doing okay, I almost felt a little bit judged by a lot of people within my church and my community and my family. Because at first, when you start out in business, a lot of people will be like, okay, be careful, you're the underdog and all. But then when you actually start being successful, I think that your friends generally want you to win, but they don't want you to win more than they're winning.
Okay.
And I and being in the church, very, very involved in the church at the time as well. I felt a bit misunderstood. So I spent a few years, took a bit of time out. I studied at Bible College. I went to Birmingham Bible Institute on the Hagley Road in Birmingham. Spent 3 years straight studying theology. And I didn't know what the rest of my life was going to look like. I didn't know if I was going to be maybe in ministry or if I was going to be a theologian, or I didn't know what, but I just felt like for myself, for my own personal reasons, I wanted to do that. And when I finished Bible college, I did a dissertation in biblical economics and studied money and what does the Bible say about money. And I realized that actually I think I'm born and put on the planet to be an entrepreneur. I think that is my calling. So when I was 23 and I left Bible college, I then got married and to Amanda, and just really went in on the business and started getting into bigger deals and development. And now, we've just in the last few months we've bought 2 hotels. We've been getting planning permission on land. We've just bought a factory which we've just got planning permission to turn into 48 apartments, which will make us a couple of £1 million profit. We're doing a lot of big deals, and also our training company's extremely successful. We get about 2,000 new students a month to our events and to our training programs, and definitely a good season, and it's a blessing.
Yeah, amazing. So you're now at the point where you've got your development business, your training business, and what's the other one? Sorry, an investment business.
Yeah, investments.
Like your portfolio.
Just the personal investments. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much time, that.
Okay, so which one of those 3 makes you the most money?
It's a great question. Our development business is the most lucrative. That is, and also even in lockdown. Like when we went to lockdown, our training business basically dried up. We still had the expenses, but we didn't have any income.
Because it was all live events that you're doing, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, now we do a bit more online, but we were still able to make millions of pounds, and in lockdown, just as we came out of lockdown, we made enough money to buy our dream house. The investment business is good, but it's completely passive. It's okay. It's good for cash flow and things like that. But the development business is the legacy business. That's the business where, leaving serious wealth to our children will come from. Training business. I say training business is a little bit like serviced accommodation. It's a little bit up and down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Feast or famine.
Yeah, and also people sometimes might come to an event and they know that people have paid X amount to be at the event, and then they count the heads. Oh, you just made this much money. It's like, no. That much money was how much our training business turned over.
Yeah.
Then you got VAT and your taxes. Then you got the costs to run the event and the staff and the resources and the mentors and everything, the food, all the stuff going. So the actual profit is not huge necessarily, but what is huge is the vision to leave a legacy. And my personal goal is to help more people become financially independent than anyone's ever done before in history. That's my goal. And if I make money along the way, awesome. But the drive is to see results and impact, and I think that has to be the drive. That's what has to get you out of bed.
There's got to be more than just money, hasn't it?
It has to be, yeah.
Yeah. So out of those 3 businesses, then, which one takes up most of your time day to day in a typical month?
Yeah.
Which one are you spending the most time on?
Yeah. Well, again, it's very different. So the training business, I spend 8 days a month, as I mentioned.
Is that 8 days of training?
Yeah.
And then outside of that, obviously, there's days of like marketing, actually selling out.
Yeah. Well, outside of actually training and mentoring, there's not that much for me to do because I've got my business partner, Russell, who's the CEO of the training business. So when it comes to all managing the staff, operations, there's very little apart from the actual delivery. Another thing as well with the training business is the training business is not systemized in the sense of any good businessman will tell you to systemize your business so that it can run without you. So I could try and systemize the training business and not actually deliver the training, to have it all online, train trainers up. And we did go down that route a little bit.
Like the progressive route, progressive property. They've got a lot of trainers.
So Rob Moore,
from what I understand.
Very, very dear friend of mine.
I'll ask you about him in a minute.
So he doesn't deliver, I don't think he delivers any training.
Yeah.
But the training business that I run, I deliver all the training in person. So That's the bit. So everything else, though, the admin, the bookkeeping, all that stuff to do with the training business is run by the team and my brother. Yeah. So that's 8 days a month. But what I will say, though, is you might say, oh, well, you got another 22 days free. It's exhausting. If I spend a day training, I need probably a day to recover. Yeah. So 8 days can very easily be like more like 16.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's very much on and off. Whereas the running the development and the investments and stuff like that, that's much more. I could be doing that just at night time, just scrolling through, responding to emails, chatting with people. It's very much lifestyle. So it's a completely different type of work. You know, completely different.
Okay, amazing. And then in terms of I agree with you, by the way. The training is exhausting. I'm not going to lie. I've been to your crash course. Went back in 2018, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I remember leaving, being like, I'm absolutely wiped.
Yeah.
How the heck did you stand up? Did you deliver that for as long as you did with the energy that you did? It was impressive. It's like who is it? Tony Robbins. You just think, geez, day after day after day.
It's tiring.
Doing like 12 hours. And now I deliver training myself. And and I'll do kind of a typical kind of 8 to 10 hours of training. And it's me delivering it. And it is exhausting.
Yeah,
flipping heck.
Especially when...
Keep the room
or if people have travelled a long way or invested a lot of money to be in the room, and then their expectations are not only that the day's going to be great and they're going to learn loads, but also they're going to get results and they're going to, it's quite. And we have, with all of our advanced training, we have like about 10 mentors. So we've got me delivering the training, teaching, sharing, and then we've got like in the foyer a whole bunch of mentor boxes. So people are in and out the room. If they've got I'll be saying, here's how you speak to an estate agent. I'll pick up the phone, ring an agent, do the script. Everyone, get your phone out, do it, go. And then people might find a deal and then they go off and speak to a mentor. It's just mayhem. I'm ringing investors, selling deals on stage. And it's nerve wracking as well, because when you like when you're ringing up letting agents and investors and trying to pitch and do deals, I'm thinking, I don't know many trainers that do that, actually. I've never seen that done before. I'm the only person I'm aware of that will basically run a training program as if I'm in my office.
Yeah.
And it's just like, come and watch what I do, man. Someone give me an area. Liverpool. All right, let me go to Liverpool. It's on the big screen. So, sometimes I think, what would happen if I don't manage to find a deal or don't manage to, what I mean? It kind of keeps me on my toes a little bit. But no, it's got, as I say, it's got to be, when you're doing training, you'll know this as a trainer, you got to be passionate about what you're doing. You got to love it, and people can see ultimately why you're there.
Yeah. So across all 3 businesses,
if
you don't mind me asking, how much do you make?
How much do I make across my businesses? I mean, it depends on how you work out make. Are you talking turnover? Are you talking profit? It will vary massively year on year. My training business lost money for the first 4 years. But what I will say is, you can go on my company's house and you can see, my accounts and everything's all public, and you can see that there's, 7-figure profits again and again every year.
Yeah, that's great. Well done.
Thanks, brother. Millions.
So
7 figures would be probably a month. I'll probably say around
7 figures turnover.
Yeah, a month. Yeah.
Yeah, across all.
But I don't want to be too arrogant or cocky, and like in lockdown, it was a struggle. Don't get me wrong. Lockdown was really tough, but right now, and it also depends on the deals. Like some deals, you might think you're about to make £1 million, and then you end up breaking even on it. Like you know what I mean? Every deal can vary, but we do good. Yeah. And I pay myself a salary of 20 grand a month.
Yeah,
that's my salary. That covers all my nice Zara clothes.
Mate, don't diss Zara. Zara's
good.
But
that's the thing, right? This top cost me I don't know, 25 quid. And these trousers might cost, I don't know, 15, 20 quid. It's like, it's just a game.
Yeah.
Making money, it doesn't affect my life. If I'm having a good season like now and I'm doing like over $1 million a month, okay, that's cool. But if I'm doing 100 grand a month, that would be obviously really, really bad. But I'm still going to wear the same clothes.
Yeah.
I'm still going to have the same phone. I'm going to drink the same water. I'm going to sit with the same people. So your personal life does actually change. So it's a game, and it's got to be, again, it's got to be more than the money. But yeah, we do well. It's all in company's house. People can check it out.
So across your 3 businesses, what is your role in each of those businesses? Obviously owner.
Yeah.
But what role do you play in those businesses?
Yeah, it depends on the business. And also, you say 3 businesses, 3 of my businesses are my main focus, but I have got other businesses. I've got a lot of joint ventures. I've got property investors mediation service. So my role is different on every one. I mean, my development business, the big thing is myself, my brother Russell, and then we have my brother-in-law, Ben. And with the development business, my role is to find the deals and to find the finance. It sounds like quite a lot.
I was going to say, from a development business, that is, there's not a lot left.
There is though, bro. There's a lot left. There's a lot left. So I'm finding the deals and I'm finding the money. However, there's a big difference.
They take you through planning, appraisals and all that stuff.
There's a big difference between finding the money and finding the deal and then appraising it, negotiating it.
So you don't
don't deal with it.
A deal agreed and then pass it on. You would just be like, here's
Russell,
a site. Are you interested?
Here's a site. I had a chat with the owner. I'm thinking we could do something like this. He's open to this.
Yeah.
Sort it out.
Yeah. So more like lead gen.
Yes.
Because you're not necessarily qualifying it and then passing it on.
I'll qualify a bit. I'm not going to pass junk over. Yeah. Otherwise, my brother would be really angry at me. Like, what are you wasting my time for, bro?
Yeah.
Right? And I'll often speak to the owner. I'll go and see it. I'll give it a quick appraisal. But I'm not paying any money. I'm not getting any surveys. I'm not sealing a deal. There's so much with development. It's not like buying a residential house. There's so much negotiations about like an overage and if you're doing like we've just agreed an option on a piece of land that we just had contracts all signed last month. And we agreed to pay the owner when we get planning permission, and we were going to pay him depending on how many units we got planning permission for. So you can imagine the amount of back and forth of our solicitor, his solicitor. That's what Russell deals with. So Russell deals with negotiations, all the legal side of things, getting the deals over the line, with the investors, with the deals. Russell, my brother, does all the planning permission. He deals with getting all the planning in place, the architectural work, what's going to go where, all that stuff, the middle stuff, my bro works out. And then once he's finished his job and we've got the planning done, we then pass it on to my other brother, Ben. And then Ben sorts out the project management. So right now, Ben is overseeing dozens and dozens of builders on loads of sites, converting buildings with pigeon poo everywhere, nails on the floor. He's there on site. I don't do that. I don't go to site.
He's a site manager.
Well, he's not a site manager. He oversees the site manager. So we'll have a site manager on each site. He's a cost manager, a quantity surveyor.
Yeah.
He oversees that to make sure that the builders are doing what they said they would on time and everything goes to plan on the sites. I don't get involved in that. If the builder's doing a bad job or going over, I'm speaking to Ben. What's going on, Ben? If the planning's taking too long, I'm ringing Russell. What's going on, Russell? If we aren't finding any sites or we can't find the money for the deals, they're ringing me going, what's going on, man? So that's the structure of that business.
Yeah.
Which works really well.
Yeah. It's very clear roles, responsibilities.
The training business, my responsibility is to deliver the training.
Yeah.
Not anything else. Of course, I'll be involved and responsible. If I'm getting messages on Instagram from people saying, I can't get hold of customer service, what's going on? I'm not just going to go, oh, not my problem. It's my business. But I'll pass it over and go, what's going on, man? To the relevant manager.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of staff. We've got 46 full-time members of staff. And then we've also got, on the development business, we've got a lot of contractors on top. So we don't have full-time builders. Mostly it's just, we contract it out. But yeah, a lot of responsibility, bro. And a lot of pressure. And if people don't want pressure, then they shouldn't pursue business.
Yeah. So give me a couple of exciting deals you got going on. You mentioned something about hotels.
Yeah. So we've got 2 hotels. One of them is an option agreement.
Where are they?
That is in Cambridgeshire. And I actually went to the hotel myself. I was staying there.
Already built, it's not
already built. It's not like a huge hotel. It's got 34 rooms. It's not nice land. It's a really nice hotel. And that property, I actually stayed there, and I was chatting with the owner, and I was saying to him, what's your occupancy rate? Because I imagine, like anyone that's in the business, whenever you stay at a hotel, you're always wondering, how much are they making?
Yeah.
You know, what's the occupancy rate? And I was chatting with the owner, and I was asking him what the occupancy rate was, this, that, the other. And it turned out he wasn't the owner, he was the manager. And he said to me, well, actually, he said, unfortunately, our contract comes to an end in 3 months because the owner, who lives in Hong Kong, is looking to sell. And I said, well, why don't you buy it? And he goes, oh, I ain't got the money to buy it. And I was asking him questions, and he's actually making quite a lot of money. So he was doing it as like a rent-to-rent. So he was renting the property from the couple in Hong Kong, and then he was running it as a hotel. And I said to him, well, listen, I said, why don't you see if you can renew your contract if it's working really well? Oh, they don't want to, blah, blah, blah. So I found out who the owner was, hunted them down, contacted them, had a Zoom meeting with them, found them on LinkedIn, and basically secured it on a rent-to-rent initially. And they said, oh, we really want to sell it, but the guy that's currently doing the rent-to-rent, he's not fixing anything. He's not sticking to his end of the bargain. There's this problem and that problem, and he keeps coming to us. He should be making enough money. The agreement was that he'd... So I was like, well, look, we could take it on, So we agreed to take it on a 10-year rent-to-rent, but then I negotiated to buy it at the end of the 10 years. So now it's an option agreement. So it's a really exciting deal. We had the heads of terms on that all signed. So that's good. The other one's just a straightforward purchase.
Yeah.
We also we bought a factory in Wolverhampton, which was a rundown factory. The guy had been trying to get planning permission on it for 3.5 years. Again, I bought that on an option. I agreed. I paid 10. Was it 10? No, 25 grand on that one. £25,000. Had an option to buy it. We just had planning permission go through a few months ago for 48 apartments. Bought it cash for $1 million, and now the works have started on that one. And
so you're fully developing that out.
Yeah,
fully. What's the exit plan on that?
The exit plan would be to, would be to sell it.
You're just gonna sell them all.
Well, that's the exit plan. The strategy is to refinance it and keep, and then to rent it out. But that's got a gross development value of 6.6 million.
So 1 million to purchase.
Yeah.
Planning costs.
Nothing.
Nice.
Yeah. Didn't pay anything for the planning because when we bought it, when we got an option to buy it, the guy had already spent 100 grand trying to get planning on it, but his application just wasn't happening. He'd been trying for 3.5 years. So what we did was we just piggybacked on his application, pushed it through, and then got a Section 73 to amend the plans once we'd already got planning permission.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then the development costs are going to be?
Well, I never like to speak too soon until it's done, but we're looking around 3.5 million.
Okay. Yeah. That'd be great. That'd be a really good deal.
Oh, mate, it's a banger. We only do the best. And again, I don't post my deals anymore. I'm a bit more secretive now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've not heard much about this. You've not documented it.
No, I don't document it anymore. I just quietly make millions of pounds.
Yeah.
No, because the thing is, every time I was putting stuff on Instagram and I was saying, oh man, I've just developed this, I'm just doing this, I get like randomers going to the property and trying to find out who the builders. And now I do everything quietly. Yeah. And invest in a lot of my deals I do through a trust anyway. Okay. Just nice and quiet.
And then the
anonymity is important
because there was one big development. I've just, as you were talking about it, just sprung to mind. The where is it? It was Ribersford House.
Yeah, Ribersford House.
Have you managed? Is that done now?
No, it's not done. It's the joys of property development. However, I've paid off all the bridging and investment on it, so I now own it outright. I own it outright cash. We are working on it slowly, but we're also trying to get further planning for more units.
Well, is that the biggest delay?
Yes, the planning is the delay. Yeah, because it needs to make profit.
Yeah.
And if I finished it right now, really fast, bang, it would probably not make much profit. So it needs more profit before I'm going to be able to finish it. But the council have to give me the planning permission in order for it to be viable, and that will be the case for any developer.
So so what have you already got planning on it for at the minute?
It's got planning permission right now for, I think it's 13 apartments, obviously big, nice, and 4 houses.
Yeah.
But it needs more.
How much more?
It needs at least another 4 houses and a few extra apartments.
Okay.
And then I'll come in quick. I got the cash ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to roll, man. I got a lot of cash ready, but I'm also a businessman, so I need to do it right.
Yeah.
It's been a big learning curve, though.
Yeah, I bet. Scary one. It's a lot of money.
Some people are like, he bought a castle and he's not got the money to finish, or he's taking forever. I'm like, well, how many castles do you own? You know what I'm saying? Win some, you win some, and some are quick and some are slow, and that's just the nature of property development.
Yeah.
But overall, we're doing pretty well.
Listen, if you're interested in property investing or you want to start and scale a property business, then I'm running some training to teach you how to do that very, very soon. I teach people how to build a 6-figure sourcing business. I teach people how to flip houses and make huge profits. And I also teach people how to start and scale their own property investment portfolio. If that sounds like the kind of thing you'd be interested in, click the link in the description and you can find out more. It would genuinely be an honor to be able to help you.
What would you say across all your businesses is the hardest thing about running the businesses that you do?
I would say the hardest thing is, I don't really know actually. What's the hardest thing of running all the businesses? Probably the hardest stuff I get someone else to do anyway. So, I mean, I work hard, but it's fun. I enjoy it. It's my passion. So, hardest thing, it's a lot of pressure, meeting everybody's expectations and the responsibility, paying all your staff's wages. But no, I'm very used to doing hard things. If I'm not doing something that's challenging, then I'm not really feeling fulfilled.
Yeah, because I think I remember a couple of years ago you started getting your fair share of negative press.
More than a couple of years ago, bruv.
Was it more than a couple of years ago?
Yeah, now we're in 2023.
Oh man, yeah, it's gone fast.
It's like
I remember
4
it was
years
like
ago.
2019. Yeah, that's when it really picked up.
2019
seems to have. I don't know if it's just that I've not noticed it, but it seems to have died down.
Well, it's all gone. It's all been. I sued everybody.
What? Explain. What was going on?
Whenever you blow up big, if you look at anybody in history that's great, Jesus was crucified, bruv. They crucified Jesus. Muhammad Ali, if you look at actually his story, as he grew, he got a lot of hate. Martin Luther King, everybody that's ever done anything great, where you've blown up, you're gonna get criticised. And yeah, 2019 was just after I'd blown up massive, and there was a lot of a lot of people talking about me, and there was a lot of good stuff, and there was some bad stuff. And the bad stuff, obviously people remember more. Bad news travels faster. It's more interesting. If you say, if you watch the news, it's nothing good. It's all negative because people like that. It's entertaining. So people remembered the negative and was sort of talking about it, and the negative was all kinds of stuff. Oh, Samuel Leeds. There's obviously the usual anti-landlord, anti-rich bashing going on.
Yeah.
Of this person's taking up too many houses and blah blah blah. But then there's also this person's promising that he's gonna get people rich, and he's got these courses, and are they legit? And people investigating into me. There was a lot of speculation as to my backstory, but I, verified everything and put the receipts out. Beginning of 2020, sued everybody and won and got compensated.
Who's everybody? Because there was stuff from like
everybody.
The BBC, wasn't there a comedian who came along? And started?
Well, even the big boys, they still had to retract comments. And
did they?
We still legally went after everybody that spoke out of turn and said things. And there's a difference between being criticised, which is okay. I don't mind being criticised, and people saying things that aren't true, that are damaging. And if people say things that aren't true or damaging, then you have a right to be compensated. And there was also people that not only said things that were untrue and damaging, but also people that said things that were malicious. So we had one guy that was posting hateful comments and was sending messages to my family, and we pressed charges, and he's now got a criminal record, and he got done in court for malicious communications. He's now serving community service. He's probably finished now because it was a long time ago. So yeah, and I learned through that, and I learned that actually, because at the time when it first started, I just thought, oh, well, it's normal. I'm just going to let my results speak. But then I thought, actually, no. When you don't put the facts on the table, then people just make stuff up. And I was becoming a punching bag for anyone that was a competitor that felt like, oh, yeah. So I stood up about maybe 3-4 years ago and got compensated fairly for it. Some of the cases are still ongoing because the courts are extremely slow.
Yeah.
There's one case that's still going on after 3 years. It's still ongoing, but we will win. We always win. I've never lost in court. I've only ever won in court, and I have had to sue people, and I have had to press charges against people because I'm not prepared to have my staff and my family and my business and my reputation brought into disrepute, and come out the other side stronger, richer, better looking, happier, with a more robust business.
Amazing. So, I mean, I know you said it's because you grew quickly, and I do think there is an element of truth to that. But why do you think people...
I don't sign up to that wires class.
Came after you.
I don't sign up for that wires class. If someone, I'm not trying to get in the head of somebody that is toxic. I'm not signing up for that class. You know, I'll deal with it if I need to deal with it, which I did 4 years ago.
Yeah,
dealt with it, finished. Why this? Why that? Why did they kill Jesus? I don't know. Yeah. But he rose again, and I rejoice in that. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Would you? I think some people would describe you as controversial.
Yeah.
Would you see yourself as controversial?
Yes, a little bit.
Antagonistic?
No, I guess if you're saying that you don't need money to get started in property,
yeah,
it's quite a controversial concept, and it's very anti what we learn in schools.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I mean, money is a bit taboo in Britain. Just to talk about money is a little bit taboo. So maybe a little bit controversial.
Because I've spoken about deals that I've done where I've put no money in the deal. I've not even bought a property and still managed to make 25 grand. And like you are able to make money through property with no money, but I haven't had the same kind of backlash. I think.
Yeah, but you weren't making $1 million a month
that you're aware of.
No. If you were, you would be getting some backlash, my friend.
Yeah.
You were doing $1 million on a bad month. Talk to me then, my brother.
Yeah.
Tell me what people are saying.
Because I think I think it is part of a. You've got a kind of personality.
Maybe. Yeah.
That I think. I liken it a little bit to Piers Morgan. Right.
I've never had that before.
Right, genuinely, I actually liken it to Piers Morgan in the sense that, and I like Piers Morgan. I
like him.
I agree with a lot of what he says. I think, however, he does say things in a way that's very blunt.
Yes, it's true.
Intentionally antagonistic. However,
I'll take that.
In my head, I see him and I think he's too smart to just be antagonistic for the sake of it. For him, I look at him and I go, he's just great at marketing.
Yeah.
Is there an element that maybe you are quite strong in your beliefs and you just get passionate, or is there a little bit of actually there's a bit of marketing behind it?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and it's a very fair observation. I think that I am a no BS, straight to the point talker. I'm a straight talker. I always have been. And I've never been worried about offending people. If people speak up and they're speaking, I'll give you an example. This was a very long time ago, but it shocked people. I was in a little group. This is years and years and years ago. I was in a little group of some loose acquaintances and friends, and we were all chatting. Everyone's getting on just fine. And then one of the ladies left. Oh, see you later, left. And then
one of your events?
No. This was I was like a teenager.
Oh, right.
This was like years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm just with some friends, acquaintances from school, and we're chatting. And then one of the ladies walks away, and then people started bad-mouthing her, and they're like, "Oh, did you see what she was wearing? Oh, did you?" And I was like, "Excuse me, come on. Do you want to just tell her what you were just saying?" Right. And afterwards, there were some people said, "Oh, I respected you for that," and other people were like, "That was totally unnecessary," and it caused a massive stir. But I just can't be fake, and I can't stand by. And in the same way, when I see things that the government are doing and the news and this and that, I'm quite opinionated, and I'm not afraid of the repercussions of me speaking my truth. And I think, for sure that might be It might help videos go viral, but that's just who I am.
Yeah.
I don't sit there and think, I haven't really got a strong opinion on this, but if I act opinionated, it's going to go viral. That is just me. That's just who I am. And I'll call a spade, and I'll say what I believe in. I'll say it passionately. I'm not always right. If I'm wrong, I'll put my hands up. And I'm not afraid to do stuff. I'm courageous. I'll do things like make predictions, and I'll say, this is what house prices are going to do this year. And I'm thinking I might not be right, but I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
And most people wouldn't have the courage to say that. Most people's prediction videos might be very airy-fairy. I'll pick up the phone and say, give me an area. Manchester. All right, cool. Bang. And I'll call an agent and sell them on the phone. Like, I'm very courageous. And, I think that definitely helps get views and get people's attention. But it's also just who I am.
Yeah. I think we definitely live in a culture where people are, they struggle to maybe nail their colours to the mast, and you definitely do that. You're not really one to shy away from what you believe, are you?
The only time I won't is if it's just not my mountain. Like if people are asking me questions that I'm not an expert in, and I just think like certain political things, and I just think, you know what, I'm not going to die on the wrong mountain. I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. But if there's certain things that are not really in my repertoire of understanding, I'm not going to be having an opinion just for the sake of having an opinion. Sometimes I'll just say, you know what, I think I'll pass on that.
Yeah. You said when all this kind of happened with the press, and really you grew very quickly. I think a lot of people saw that, especially from the financial freedom challenges you're doing, that your channel grew very quickly from that. True. And then things started to turn quite sour in the press, and people saying stuff. What did you and because I know for you and your family that was tough, because I've seen videos where you've shared about how your family were getting hate mail and all that stuff, threats. What did you learn through that as a family?
Yeah, I mean, I learned that I'm accountable to 6 people. I'm accountable to my family. I'm accountable to my staff. I'm accountable to my customers. I'm accountable to my church. I'm accountable to God, and I'm accountable to myself. And I'm not accountable to anybody else. I'm not accountable to The Guardian. I'm not accountable to Joe Lycett, Mr. Comedian, trying to do a show and making jokes about me, saying I'm unattractive and don't look very handsome. I couldn't give a monkeys. I'm not accountable to those people, but I am accountable to my customers and to my staff and to my church and to my family and to God and to myself. So I think it's just about being careful who you listen to. But also as well, this is something that Grant Cardone told me, because Grant Cardone was really helpful during that space back in 2019. Spent a lot of time with him, and he said a lot of helpful stuff. I learned a lot from him. He said, don't worry about the haters. It don't matter, because there'll always be haters. They hate on everything and everybody. They hate on themselves. Worry about the people that listen to them, because sometimes people just think, oh, there's no smoke without fire. And that's why I needed to start readdressing everything. I don't want to sit here for the whole interview talk about some hate in 2019. But I think that was what I learned. Yeah.
You said you spent a bit of time with Grant Cardone. You spent some time with some pretty famous people recently. Andrew Tate being one. Yeah. What happened there? Where did the connection come from?
Andrew Tate, I saw he was following me on Instagram, and I messaged him and asked him if he could meet up with me, and I wanted to interview him, and he said yes. And then we met up, but we ended up not doing an interview. We just talked, and he showed me his car, and then he had to go, and I didn't do an interview. He was really late. And then I met up with him again and did an interview, and since then I've sort of stayed in touch with him a bit on WhatsApp and stuff, and he's been really influential to me on the fitness side of things. One of the things he said to me is, he said, if I woke up one day, Samuel, in your body, in 6 months, I'd be slim. And when he said that to me, I was just shy of 19 stone. That was about 6 months ago when he said that.
Okay.
And I've since lost 3 stone.
Jeez, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, he's right. He would.
Yeah.
Because it's not about, like, anything. Like, you think, oh, being rich.
Yeah.
I hope I can get rich. Everything's a process.
It comes down to actions, doesn't it?
It does. And it also comes down to habits.
Yeah.
If you're rich, if I lost my millions and lost everything and my reputation went down the tatters, I'd make everything back again because I know how. What I do results in me having money. Yeah. And what I realised from what Andrew Tate said is, what I do results in me having money. What I do results in me being happy. What I do and how I act with my wife and my family and my kids results in me having healthy relationships. But also what I'm doing is making me fat. So I realised, actually, my obesity is as a result of how I am acting every day, my habits. So I changed my habits. I've lost a few stone. I'm still a little bit overweight, but I'm in the best shape of my life, and I'm happier that I'm with myself. You know, I want to be a good role model to my kids.
Yeah.
And I've got more energy, and so I've mad respect for Andrew on that front. And also, Andrew Tate came on my channel and blew my channel up. I had just shy of 6 million views on the video I did with him alone, which is the most views I've ever had on any video ever.
I saw that. That was
so kudos to him, respect to him for graciously coming on my channel. Because I didn't. People say, how much did you have to pay him? I didn't pay him anything.
So what is your opinion of Andrew Tate and the controversy that surrounds him at the minute?
I mean, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because if I say, oh yeah, I think he's great, everyone's going to think, oh, so you agree with everything he says. What about this comment and this comment? But at the same time, for me to sit here and disrespect somebody that came on my YouTube channel and graciously gave up their time and blew my channel up and has helped me with my weight loss, for me to sit here and say negativity and jump on the I hate Andrew Tate train because it's popular, I'm not prepared to do that. I have respect for him. I did challenge him on the interview on a lot of his views, which I disagree with. And I thrashed it out with him, and it's there for all to see. So no, I don't agree with everything he says, but I have respect for him as a businessman, as a marketer, and I credit him for how he's helped me.
Yeah. He's a genius marketer, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, undeniably.
Yeah. So you're saying you're getting into shape?
Yes.
You've got the boxing match with Rob.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about that? What happened there?
Yeah. Rob Moore I respect Rob because he's a bit of an older, more seasoned property trainer. He's got a training company which has been going for a very long time, and he said that in an interview that he thought he could beat me up. And
who was that interview with?
I don't remember. Some nobody. But I saw it because it had my name in the title.
Yeah.
Could you beat up Samuel Leeds? And I remember thinking, how's Rob going to admit that he get his ass kicked by me on a podcast? This will be interesting. And I watched the interview, and he didn't. He said that he could beat me up, which surprised me because clearly he couldn't. You can just look at the way he walks and talks and is, and you can see that he is a wimp. And you can look at me, and you can see I'm probably going to be able to handle myself, I would imagine. So I was surprised, but no problem. But then some years later, I asked him about it on a podcast and said, hey, you said you could beat me up. You know, would you put your money where your mouth is? And he was like, yeah, man, 50 grand. So I doubled it and said 100 grand. Now we've got a 100 grand bet. And I'm going to be knocking him out on the 1st of July. And I actually feel bad for the guy because he's delusional. He's like in his 40s. He's really skinny. I just don't understand what he's thinking. I really, really don't. I'm very worried for him because I will be going full force and knocking him out.
Have you ever done any kind of combat sport before?
I do a little bit.
Yeah. What kind of
I
stuff?
had a white collar fight before, which to be fair, I didn't do very well at. I lost, and I was very fat at the time and overweight and unfit. I did a cage fight, which I did quite well at. I won that. And I've also, as a kid, I used to fight a lot, street fight and stuff. I grew up in Warsaw, that sort of Birmingham. So I know how to fight. I know how to punch. I'm a very capable fighter. Obviously, if I'm fighting professional fighters, I don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
But fighting against someone like Rob Moore is going to be a walk in the park, and it'll be fun. But I do wonder.
You feel sorry for him?
I feel bad for him. He's so delusional.
Just.
I mean, he literally to this day still thinks that he's got. He on his website he says he's got the biggest property training company in the UK, and I'm like, dude, it's embarrassing because I see your events. I went down to one of them, and it was tiny. You struggle to get 20 people in the room. It's an embarrassment. So I'm really I think he's delusional. Also, if you type in Samuel Leeds crash course on Google, you know what the top thing that comes up? And it has for years.
No.
An advert from Progressive saying, Samuel Leeds crash course ad. And then when you click on it, it takes you through to Rob Moore's event. And it's like, that's how desperate he is to use my name. He's so delusional. He's so desperate to get a bit of the cream of Samuel Leeds, multi-million pounds every month. And he's so delusional. He's so desperate, and he's going to get so battered. He may end up... I've made him sign.
He actually does.
Have you seen that? Tell me what happened. Tell me.
Pulled it up.
What happened?
So I've typed in Samuel Leeds crash course, and it says...
What's that?
Actually, do you know what? It says Samuel Leeds crash course, online property course.
As the top one, and then what happens when you click it?
Where's it take you? On it, it is the property, progressive property.
So Rob Moore using my name on Google, paying money. He's paying money to try and leverage off the king. And he's so delusional.
That's sad, isn't it?
And it's sad. Imagine if I did that to you. Imagine, right, saying Jack Smith property training and paying for that to be an advert. So when people click on it, Googling you, wanting you, and then trying to package something slight and hope that it's deceit. That's what it is. Because they'll think, it said Samuel Leeds crash course. I clicked on it. I booked an event. So he's a deceiving, delusional, weak, sorrowful guy who's going to get badly knocked out. And when he gets badly knocked out, it's going to be so embarrassing for him because he's talked such a big game. He's got like, I've got a black belt in kickboxing and this, that, and the other. And I really, really pity the guy. And I was saying to my wife, I was like, I think I'm just going to have to go easy on him and just like, spar him in that. And she was like, he asked for it. He asked for it. You should just knock him out. So I said, all right.
If you think you can knock him out,
I don't think I can knock him out. Honestly, Jack. Honestly. I mean, I put 100 grand on it. You know what I mean? I put 100 grand cash on it.
So did he, though, to be fair.
He did, but he had no choice because he's so desperate. He's at the very end of his retirement career. And it's like, he's so desperate to be relevant again. He's like, yeah, man, I'll sell my car just to get that little bit of relevance. Whereas for me, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's probably what he's doing. He's probably going to sell his car. Is
the beef real?
I don't really know him. I mean, yeah, he kicked me out of his event. I paid for a billboard outside his house with my face on it just to kind of piss him off. So there's a bit of banter. Yeah. I don't hate the guy though. We're doing it. Well, yeah. I'm doing it for a bit of fun and to raise a bit of money for charity. I think he's doing it to desperately leech off of my brilliant name, as we've seen from his adverts. Is the beef real? Not really. I mean, geez, after I knock him out, I'll give him a kiss and a cuddle and, you know what I mean? He can give me a load of money to help build schools and different things across the world. And I'll continue feeling sorry for him. It would be nice to have a bit more of a challenge. It would be nice to be able to fight somebody that was a little bit bigger and stronger than Rob. But I guess he's the only one that's willing to fight me. I mean, unless you want to jump in the ring or something. I mean, fuck. I mean, he's the only person that stepped up to the challenge. So I have a tiny bit of respect on that front, but he'll be knocked out. So
are you hoping that potentially if you put on a good performance, you may be able to jump onto the whole YouTuber influencer boxing thing?
Dude, I'll fight anybody. I would literally fight anybody.
Work your way up to the big stage.
I mean, I would get some losers message me on Instagram like, will you come and fight me? And I'm like, no, I don't even know who you are. You know what I mean? There'd be nothing in it for me at all. I don't know who you are, and you wouldn't have 100 grand to put into my charity. But anyone that's got a bit of relevance, like Rob, who's done something and has got the money and can back it up, I'll fight anybody. Yeah, and I'm very confident I would beat most people. Certainly in the pansy property space, because it's a wimpy space, bruv. Like, the property space is a wimpy space. That even like in 2019, you said when I was getting hated on and everyone was all like bitching about me, not one person actually said to me, "We've actually got a problem with you," because there's nothing to say. They're just wimps. It's a very wimpy space. I'd knock everybody out in the property community. I don't think there's one person in this country that I wouldn't knock out in the property space.
If anybody's watching this in the property space and wants to challenge Samuel,
bring it, man.
Put that in the comments.
Knock down. And Rob's the easiest, but he's the only one that had the courage to actually agree. So fair play.
Have you got an undercard?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
Who's fighting in it? Anyone exciting?
My whole team are going to kick his whole team's ass.
Oh, is it your team versus his team?
My whole team are going to murder his team. Because my team have actually got a bit of aggression. My team are hungry go-getters. His team wear purple little shirts with stripes on. They're a bunch of pussies. He's the king pussy, and he attracts the pussies in the team. My whole team are going to knock his team out.
Interesting.
It's going to be good. And it's going to be a great net. You should come, actually. I'll get you tickets.
Yeah, get me tickets.
I'll get you some tickets,
I'll
bro.
come along.
I'll get you some tickets.
It would be good fun.
Yeah, I will.
Right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up just with a couple of questions, if that's all right.
Sure, bro.
So, you mentioned earlier, I know we were joking about Rob and everything, but you mentioned earlier that a little bit around the challenges of running a business and what it's taken to get to where you are today. Ultimately, if you were to condense it down, why is it that you do what you do? Because it's not easy. So why do you do it?
Because I want to be remembered. I want to go down in the history books, and I want to leave the world a slightly better place than I found it.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for helping more people across the planet become financially free than anyone's ever done before, and for kicking Rob Moore's ass.
Amazing. Last question. How would you define success? Because for a lot of people, they might see that you make 7 figures a month. Is that not success? Have you not made it? You want to keep going, push on for more, I'm assuming. You talked about legacy earlier.
Yeah. I would say success is getting better. If someone's making $1,000 a month and they're working at Tesco's, and then they get into property and get a rent to rent and they're making £1,500 a month now, then that's success. It might not be wild success, but success is progression. Success is moving forward towards a goal and getting better. I've lost a bit of weight. That's success. Success doesn't necessarily mean having an 8-pack. Success is progressing towards a goal. Yeah.
Amazing. Samuel, thank you so much
for jumping
on the podcast.
Appreciate you, brother.
It's been
Keep
really
up the good work, man. Respect for what you're doing as well.
Thank you.
Thanks for checking out the podcast. If you enjoyed the show, then make sure that you click the subscribe button and also hit the bell notification so you don't miss an upload. We're on YouTube, but we're also on all podcast platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, don't forget to check out the link in the description if you're interested in finding out more about the property investment education that I provide.